Hi friends, Chandrasekhar here again, and this time we are continuing with the fifth in the series of lecture on the concepts of Jaimini Astrology. Please understand, again and again I am telling you, I am only giving the concepts. I am not giving you the entire system because it's too lengthy, and if I may say so, the second part of even those two adhyayas which were supposed to be found earlier, and they concentrate more on death, and I am one who is not much interested in when death is going to come. I am more interested in how people are going to live and live their life as happily as possible depending on their past karmas. So you will excuse me if I don't dwell much into on those aspects, though I might mention a thing or two, but not much. So we will take up from the last lecture. We saw Mando Jayana Graheshu was one of the aphorisms which says Manda, that is Manda means the slow one, and slow one, who is the slow one? The great Saturn. That is why he is also called Shanaishchara. Shanai means slowly, and Chara means to move. So one who moves slowly, you can make it, I mean, it's very easy to understand why he has been named like that. He takes 2.5 years to cross over a Rashi, whereas other planets cross them faster. Fine. So we are seen from Saturn on to Sun, in the rather from Sun to Saturn, if we can call it that way. That is the order of, descending order of strength of planets. This is generally accepted. Varahamir has a different idea about it, and he says that Saturn is the least powerful, slightly more powerful is Mars, then Mercury, and then goes to Jupiter. Even stronger is Venus, much more stronger is Moon, and the strongest as usual is the Sun. I would think this is not wrong. I mean, it is his way of thinking. Perhaps he was concentrating on who gives perhaps more beneficial result, but that cannot always be said about Sun. It can also cause problems. But we can see that Saturn, the most malefic, supposed to be most malefic rather, is at the lowest ladder. Then comes Mars, then comes Buddha, that is Mercury, who is malefic with malefics and benefic with benefics, and then comes Jupiter, then goes the Shukra, Venus, and so on. So these are the opinions we should understand. We should know about them. What we have to take, I think the older order is much better, but that is my opinion. Everybody has his own opinion. Now we will come to the next part, the counting. Now you will say, what is so great about counting? We know how to count. Yeah, we do know how to count and how to read the general chart. That is how we read it in the regular direction, whether North Indian or South Indian. If it is South Indian, then the direction appears to be clockwise. In North Indian, it appears to be anti-clockwise, but the order doesn't change. See, after one, we go to the second. See, from Mesh, we will go to from first house, we go to the second house, whichever way you can read it. So it doesn't make any difference. So what is said by the reason for that is, it is very important in case of Dasha. Also important when you are going to calculate the Hora Lagna. I am not going into how to calculate the Hora Lagna, Ghati Lagna, etc., because that is already there in the standard text. So nothing great about it. Hora Lagna is a bit different, but not much different. There are many ways of looking at Hora, and so we can find out the Hora Lagna and Ghati Lagna. It's not very difficult. Only thing is, count is sometimes different, and what happens is, what is said is Prachir Vritti Vishameshu. Prachi means the regular, the Prachi is also direction, the east, and so whichever way you want to translate it, that means when the Rashis are odd numbered or the Bhavas are odd numbered, but I would go here. Here it means Rashis only. Rashis are, when they are of odd number, then you count in the regular direction. Paravruttyottareshu, para means otherwise. The next one, which one? Obviously the even Rashis. when a Rashi is even and something is to be counted from that Rashi, then it has to be counted in the opposite direction. Whichever chart you are using, you go in the reverse direction. This is fine. Then comes the sutra. Now here is the, what can I say, the essence of sutra. Almost one word, rather two words. Na kvachita. Which means sometimes it is not so. So here we must always thank the great Nilkanta and of course the subsequent commentators on sutras who have deciphered it correctly, because this is referring to something called as Samapada and Vishamapada, which comes when you calculate the Chara Rashis, Chara Dashas and other things. Even there I am not going to dwell much upon it, because I don't use them regularly, and I always speak extempore, as you know. So I am not in the habit of preparing for a lecture and then talking like that. So not kvachita. Now why? Sometimes it is not so. When it is not so is the question that must arise in the mind of an astrologer. Of course, sutras are very difficult to interpret. I am telling this time and again, and then even what interpretation we are getting may also be right or wrong. Depends much on the way it is looked at. But here what is being said is, and at least that is how it is interpreted by everybody, almost everybody, because I might not have seen one or two of the commentaries. There are umpteen number of commentaries on Jaimini Sutras. So, what is done is, pada means 1/4 or one part. Always remember that. So, what is done is, the entire zodiac is divided into 4 parts, and each quarter is one pada. Now, 1, 2, 3, that is Mesh, Taurus. I confuse between the terminology in English. So Aries, Taurus and Gemini are the Vishamapada of the Rashi system. The odd pada, because it is the first pada. Second is, obviously, when 1, 2, 3 is there, then 4, 5, 6, that is Cancer, Leo and Virgo is the second pada. It is called the Samapada. Okay. Then comes naturally 7, 8 and 9. That is Libra, Scorpio and Sagittarius. This is again Vishamapada, the odd pada. Okay. First pada, then the third pada. So not very difficult to understand. And then goes 10, 11 and 12, which is Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces. This is again Samapada. Why? It is the fourth pada. Now where this na kvachita, when sometimes this doesn't happen or you don't count in this fashion, is when the Sama Rashi, that is the even Rashi, if it is falling in the Vishamapada, then you don't count like the Sama Rashis, you count like the according to which path it occupies. So what is happening here is it's not rocket science, it's easy once you understand the concept. 1, 2, 3, the second Rashi, that is the Taurus, comes in the Vishamapada. So in that case, from Taurus you count in the regular direction, not the reverse direction, as is generally necessary for the Sama Rashis, that is the even Rashis. Now opposite to that, it doesn't take rocket science. Opposite to Taurus is Scorpio, which again will fall in the third pada, 7, 8, 9. That is where it falls. So here also, when it is Scorpio, you count in the regular direction, not in the reverse direction. Okay. Similarly, when you go to the Vishama Rashi, the odd Rashis, what will happen is, you can make it out 4, 5, 6. So Rashi number 5, that is Leo, will fall in the Samapada. Opposite to that, Aquarius will also fall in Samapada. That is the even pada, even quarter of the 4 quarters of the zodiac. And so there you count in the reverse direction instead of regular direction, as is enjoined in the earlier two aphorisms, the sutras. Okay. So This is how we go about it. And this also will cause problems when you calculate Upapada, because then again the same problem will start, how to count direct, indirect, whatever way. And so after that we will go to the next sutra. Nathanta samaha prayena. Somewhere this sutra is used that Nathanta samaha prayena. The idea is, what is being said is, this is about, probably about Dasha, where it is said that Dasha is counted according to some people. You will know that Sama Mananti, which means some are of the opinion that Dashas are counted from the position of, the Rashi and the planet. The distance between the two will be equal to the Dasha when we calculate the Dashas. But then there are different system of Dashas given. So obviously when Sama Prayana is being said, perhaps this sage does not contribute to this idea. So we should understand it. You will understand it later on why. Then he will say every Rashi has 12 years of Dasha, and then it is further divided by 12 to get the Antar Dasha and so on. And as I said, I will not dwell much on the Dashas. Then it is a Yavadi Dashraya Padam Rukshanam. Now here starts the definition of Pada. What is Pada? Pada is what we call mostly as Ārudha. What is Ārudha? That which is mounted on what? Something else. Isn't it like a rider mounts the horse? Isn't it? Rider still remains rider. That horse gives him additional height. So we can say something more about the Jataka can be known from the Ārudha. This is how we can think about it. Some people talk about the Maya and the Satya, that the Satya is the Ārudha and the Lagna is Maya. But insofar as I have understood the sutras, nothing like this is specifically said there. It can be deduced by people who are really great about the interpretation of sutras. I don't deny that. It could be one of the things, but to me, it would think that the rider, when on ground, is something I would look more at than rider who is mounted on the horse. But this is individual opinion. Please don't quote me that Mr. Sharma is saying this or no controversies. I don't want to enter. I anyway don't use Jaimini much, so I will be very honest with you. This is just to give you an idea, background idea of things. These can be used with sense of proportion even in the regular, what we call Parashari or traditional, though Jaimini himself talks about Siddhadaya Hora, it's Horadaya Siddha, Ududaya Siddha and so on. So he also talks about referring to the great saints or sages to understand whatever is not being said by him. So sometimes I do talk very fast, isn't it? So pardon me for that. That is Mars aspecting my second bhava, and so perhaps I am always in a hurry to explain things. So it is simple, Padam Rukshana. It's not very complex. Count the number of Rashis past. Suppose Rashi Lord is X Rashi is there, the Lord is at Y distance, so calculate that and calculate as much ahead from that Lord to get the Pada or the Ārudha. What is the idea behind this? The idea is pretty, I think, simple. I mean, not very complex. It is like a mirror. The Graha is supposed to be the source of energy. So his reflection or his influence will go in both the direction, is the perhaps the principle behind it. I am saying perhaps because that is what it appears to me. I mean, most of you who are from the science stream would understand it easily, must have done those, the experiment of periscope and all that, how those, you can see something which is above the level of the sea from below the sea by using a periscope, those mirrors kept at 45 degrees each will give you the idea of what is happening. Now this is the concept behind it, and we are into understanding the concepts rather than new techniques. I am no sage, I cannot give new techniques. I can only dwell upon what I understand about astrology. And that is why this channel is, we have started this channel. So, this is clear. Then the next sutra says Swasthe Daraha. Now this has been differently interpreted by different people. I mean, the great B. Narayan Rao has interpreted it in a different fashion, and he says it is fourth from fourth. If it is in fourth bhava, then it will be, if it falls in fourth bhava, then the fourth bhava, the seventh bhava will be the pada, but it is not so. You see, we have seen the Katapayadi, swa means when there is a part words, then you take the last part of it, so sa and va, half sa and full va, so you take va, ya, ra, la, va is 4, dara also means 4. So what happens is, if a planet, I mean the fourth from the planet, if by some reason, the pada falls in the fourth bhava from itself, then that itself is the pada. Because what will happen is, suppose Aries is the Rashi, and from there Mars is in the fourth house, then logically we count 4 again and the pada should fall in the seventh house. It does not, it remains in the fourth house itself. Got it? So whenever the bhava lord is 4 Rashis ahead, then the same Rashi will be the pada, not the count, another count ahead of it. And this is again, then next is Sutasthe Janmaha. Here again you apply the Katapayadi, you will understand that Suta will be 76 and then reverse, which will become 67 and divide by 12, so you get 7. So when pada lies in the 7th house, what will happen? Sutasthe, sorry, when the Lord is in the 7th house, extremely spirit, not the pada lies in the 7th house. That happens when Lord is in the 4th house. Sthe means to remain, to be placed. When Lord is 7 from his own Rashi, what will happen is, naturally the pada by the earlier method of counting as much ahead will again lie in the lagna itself or the bhava itself. But here they say Janmaha. What is Janmaha? Again the ja and ma comes. 85, then you reverse, and then you get divided by 12, so 48 are removed and 10th is it. So then in that case the pada will fall in the 10th bhava. So I hope it is pretty clear. If we want to look at it from some other perspective, then we can say, in case of lagna or the 4th house or the 7th house, if should pada fall in the bhava itself or 7th from itself, look at 10th from there to get the final destination. So when bhava falls in the 7th from the bhava, then 10th from 7th will be 4th house. So it is pretty easy to understand, which is of course when it falls in 4th, then only the pada will fall in 7th. And same with the if the bhava lord is 7th from the bhava itself, naturally the pada will fall in the 10th by normal calculation. Calculate 10th from it, you will get the 10th bhava. So it's pretty simple mathematics and how you look at the things. Nothing very complex about it. So this is the Ārudha Lagna concept. This is then, see, the Ārudha Lagna has more importance, and similarly you can calculate Lagna, I mean Pada or Ārudhas for everything. And then Upapada, about which most of the astrologers are very interested because it is said to indicate whether the marriage will last or not or whatever. Though Kalidas talks about only 8 padas, he says Ashtapada. He doesn't talk about the 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th It doesn't take those bhavas to have their own pada. And his concept of upapada is every pada has an upapada. So this is where the confusion starts, and so I don't go much into it. Maybe when we talk about pada, that comes in the next chapter, I suppose. Athapada Nam or something. So then we will talk about it. Then next is the most important. Sarvatra Savarna Bhava Rashaya is the sutra. Which means wherever bhava or rashis are made, use the Katapayadi system, the Varna based system, the consonant based system. Sarvatra Savarna Bhava Rashaya. Shcho also, and Bhava and Rashi. Now here what has happened is, this has been also, this has been accepted by everybody, but most of the interpreters have also thought that this is an indication about Varnada Dasha. I have not seen it in the sutras themselves, but then those who interpreted this were much more learned than me. So they might be right, they might not be, because Varnada Dasha also appears in Brihat Parashari. So perhaps, since most of this is already in the Brihat Parashari, or Parashariya as it is called, and all other texts also, maybe the learned might have thought that this is anyway, whatever we don't understand here, we go to Parashari and find out from there, and that is why they have interpreted it to mean Varnada Dasha, though that is not. They say Sarvatra Savarna Bhava Rashayascha. Period. Not Grahaha. Don't apply this to Graha. Wherever the name of Graha comes, planet comes, don't apply Katapayadi. This is what must be understood. Now what happens is, many a times I find in some of the interpretations, there are so many, and done by great astrologers who were both expert in Sanskrit and astrology, maybe 10 times or 100 times more than me. They have many a times used, the numbers to mean, they should generally mean the Rashis, or they should be converted to, because Bhava number, if it is Bhava number, then you have to convert it to Katapayadi and understand what is being said. And even the Grahas must always be, he says Graha have to be taken as Grahas. There is no Katapayadi there, but even there, many a times, the interpretation is based on the Katapayadi, which might not be correct. So this is the basic thing that we should understand about the great Jaimini's Sutras. You will find all of this also in Brihat Parashar Hora Shastra in shloka form. As we have seen in earlier lecture, the Bhagini Ārudha, you know that sutra, Bhagini Ārudha, Kanyana Sutra. So where what happens is, prior to that, there are two lines of shlokas in Brihat Parashari, which is talking about stronger between Sun and Venus being the Karaka for father, and stronger between Moon and Mars being Karaka for mother, about which I have already commented, I think, in the Sthira Karakas lecture that we saw in the traditional the astrology lectures. And that is why Balakrishna Saraswati has said that, when he has said, this implies that rest of the things which is not said, like the father and mother, the most important people in the life of the Jataka, without whom a person would not be born at all. He says Ravi and Venus, that is Sun and Venus, are Prani Janaka, the father of a person. So that is why he says it is implied that this should be seen, whatever is not being commented upon and what needs to be used in astrology, or what can I say, interpretation of a chart, should be taken from the standard text. Standard text would be text of the Pravartakas in those days. Later on, of course, the Acharyas, because the Acharyas were no less than Pravartakas. They also spread the knowledge, But the fundamental knowledge is supposed to have come from the great sages, the 18 sages, Chavana, Yavana, Marichi, and Lomash, Romash, Parashara, Garga, and so on. Narada, Pita, that is Brahma, and there is an aphorism like that. And I am sure all of you must have read it. So, and this then ends with Hora the Siddhaha. That means Hora and other details should be seen from the standard texts which are already given by the sages, which in a way confirms my premise that the sutras were given as an adjunct or more focus on a certain area of astrology, which was not perhaps commented at length, but I see that most of it has been commented at length by Parashara also and other learned, even Pravartakas, the Acharyas, they have commented upon it. But yes, certain areas that Jaimini comments are not there in the standard text, isn't it? So they are there, but they are by implication not specifically told. So perhaps that is the reason why Jaimini thought it better that he should explain it at length to the students, and this should be communicated on one-on-one basis. That is what Upadesha is about. Upa is in front of you, and Deshika or Deshi also means the Guru. So sitting in front of Guru, you want learn something, you hear something, that is what is Shruti, and that is what is the essence or the beauty of Vedic astrology. That is how it was carried in the brain by so many sages, so many acharyas, and now we get it in a ready-made form, in the printed form. So we find it easy to understand. And my dear friends, I think the next lecture or one or two, I would talk about certain, what can I call it? Yogas caused by to be seen from Ārudha Lagna or Karkamsha, and unless you tell me to speak more about it, I will close this. After 2 or 3 lectures, I will close this topic, because you would have understood the basics, the concepts of what is said in Jaimini. You read even Burat Parashari and you will find most of it there. I am just amplifying it. So I am you can say, in a way, taking up the role of the great Jaimini. God forbid, I don't compare myself to him, but I am again trying to explain the logic behind what is being said as understood by me. I may be right, I may be wrong, you decide and apply things, and you will find that in certain areas, because the next thing that we will be talking about is perhaps either Ārudha Lagna or Karakausha. Depends on what urge I get to talk about, and so we will come to the end of this 5th lecture. This has now covered most of the things which are generally not used in traditional astrology. Not that they are never used, they are used, but not specifically like this. As a matter of fact, I have been after Jaimini scholars, even one of my very good friends, young friends, of course everybody is young to me, I am now 73, so Ravindra Bhagwat, who has done a lot of research on Jaimini astrology, to write a book where how to apply Jaimini principles on a regular chart, on natal chart, should be explained in very simple form. If that is done, then I think it will add to the our capacity to interpret chart even better. But the current system, as I see it, is more about those 52 dashas of Jaiminis, and then the 6 ways of interpreting Upapada and so on, and which is right, and different way of looking at the Drishkana. But that confuses a person instead of making him use it regularly. And so, my dear friends, I take your leave. I will not take much of your time. As I always see the counter which is telling me how many minutes I am speaking. It's almost about 19 minutes or so. And we shall meet in the next lecture, the sixth lecture. But please, after I mean make this lecture public, I usually upload them and keep them private and release them every week, as you know, almost every Saturday. I release them. I try to release them so that if I am not well or whatever, then you don't miss it. The link is not broken, and do let me know every time I upload a lecture on Jaimini whether you think I am adding value to your knowledge or not, because I don't want just to go on giving lectures to please myself or get more subscribers. That's not, never has been my intention. You know now, I think those who have been seeing all those lectures know that by now. And so my dear friends, thank you very much. You have been giving me so much patient hearing, and many of you are giving me compliments, and thank you very much.